Hello everyone and welcome to what's going to be episode 3 of my allotment channel. So today we're down at the allotment. My plan for today is to, on my second plot, get some ground ready to plant my onions, garlics and shallots that we saw in the last episode. And I'm also going to be trying out some new tools that I got for my birthday yesterday. So I got a selection of garten tools from their multi-click range, I think it is. I've got a soil miller, a weed remover and a cultivating claw. So I'm going to be using the miller today to re-mill some of the soil on my new plot. I rotivated it last time that I was here. I didn't manage to get that on video because it was very, very wet and windy at the time, so the quality would have been horrendous. So I'm going to head over to my second plot and I'm going to make a start milling the soil. We'll mark out some paths and turn the large bed that I've got into 4 beds with paths in the middle. So I will see you over there and we'll have a look at my new tool. So here we've got the garten soil miller. We're going to give it a go with this. This has been rotivated a little while ago, but it's become quite hard again in the ground. So we'll give this one a go. Actually, all I'm going to do is move it backwards and forwards in the soil. It's quite difficult with one hand on the tool and one on the camera. But as you can see, with very little effort, it's just breaking up all that soil. This is with very little effort at all. I'm just moving it back and forwards. Just cutting out any weeds as it goes as well. Then if we look at the beautiful soil, down to a nice tilth with little to no effort at all. All I want to show you is the another garten tool on the same handle. This is a claw cultivator. Again, really easy to use. You can even use it one-handed on this telescopic handle, and it is just clawing through that soil. Again, with little to no effort, much like the soil miller, breaking up the ground really nicely. And because it's quite narrow, you're going to have to fit into nice small spaces with this one as well. And it's got really, really solid tines on there as well, and quite sharp too, so it cuts through the ground with absolutely no effort at all. So I've been using that soil miller for about 10 minutes now. We'll have a look at what we've got so far. So I've done the entire front half of this set of 4 beds. And as you can see, it's beautifully milled soil. There's still a lot of stones in here, but I think over time we'll get rid of those. Literally all I've done is back and forth with that miller and a quick drag over with a rake to try and get some of the stones out. And I think it's looking pretty good compared to the soil at the back. So far, I'm very impressed with the soil miller, and I'll continue to use it and let you know how I'm getting on with it. So I've just been digging some holes for my leeks, and I thought I'd try the weed remover tool just to see if this was any good for this. I didn't expect it would be, but it's actually a perfect tool. I'm literally sticking it in the ground. It's quite hard doing it one-handed. Giving it a bit of a twist around and pulling it up, and we've got the perfect hole. So not only good for removing weeds, which I haven't tested it on yet, but I'll be doing that a bit later, but very easy to be digging your leek holes with. So one of my tasks for today is to plant all my leeks out. I was quite lucky, again another Wyvale discount, because I think they were getting a bit tall and leggy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split all these up and put them into the pre-drilled holes that I've got in the ground already. Now with a lot of these, there are 2 leeks per little nodule. So what I'm going to do is I am going to split these all up. I'm literally just going to be really, really gentle. I'm going to try not to damage the roots as best I can. I'm just getting all of the soil out of the root ball. Like so. And then just teasing the roots apart so we've got 2 separate leeks from one module. I'm going to carry on doing that, but as I've done before, I'm going to speed that up because it gets quite boring watching me do one repetitive task over and over again. So let's speed this up. Okay, so there we go. We have got a selection of leeks that have all been separated out, and look at all the roots on those. So we've managed to preserve a lot of the roots, which is good. So now all we've got left to do is go and plant them in our pre-dug holes, and I will explain to you a little bit about those. So as you can see, I've got all my pre-dug holes in the ground here. I did those really easily with that wolf garten tool, which I'm really impressed with so far. So what you want to do with your leeks is you're going to take one leek, singular leek like this, and you're just going to drop it into one of these holes. Okay, we're not going to fill it in or anything like that. Don't worry if they look like they're falling over in the holes. They will straighten up once they've been watered. And the idea with these is that you leave the hole like this, you don't fill it in, and you just water the hole. And the sides will gradually fall into the hole, and this way you get that more of the nice white bit that you get at the bottom of leeks, and this is known as blanching. You can do it without doing this. I've never actually tried growing leeks down here before, so this will be a first for me as well, so a bit of an experiment. So what I might do is, with a couple of them, I'll fill the holes in completely, and then at the end of the season we can have a little look and see what the difference is. So I'm going to get on with planting the rest of all of these leeks, and I will be back with you after that. So we have got all of those leeks put into holes now. We've got 28 of them in total. There's a couple which have got 2 leeks in one hole just because I've run out of holes, and there's a few that looked a bit weaker than others. So what I'll do is I'll thin those out when the time gets to it. So I'm just going to water these in. All I'm going to do is pour some water in each hole. This will get some of the sides to fall in and just get them well watered in as well. So that's all the leeks put in. That's all the leeks watered in as well on both these two here. So we've got about 30 leeks there, which should see us through next year, and soups and the like. I've done, as I said, a little experiment at the end where I've buried those completely, and the rest I've left in the more traditional way with an unfilled in hole. So I'm going to move on to doing my garlic next. As you remember from the last episode, we were sorting those out. And what I've done is I've dug some drills here using the weed remover tool from Wolf Garden. It's done a cracking job. It's done nice narrow drills which I can put all my onions in. It's left enough space in between each of them to get a bit as well, so that we can get the weeds sorted easily without disrupting the onions too much. So I'm going to get on with those and see how we get on. So that's all the white onions planted, and I've also planted half the garlic in that end row. So we're going to have a row of garlic each side of the path down the middle, white onions on one side, and we're going to put the red onions on the other side, which I'm going to go and do now, and I'll catch up with you after I've got on with that. So there we go, that is all the shallots, the red onions, and then the white onions on this side, and all of my leeks planted. I've also planted some grass along these paths in the hope that we'll get a nice grass path across the middle and split these 4 beds up nicely. But only time will tell, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But what I will do now, I think, we'll go and have a little tour of plot 89. This is the new plot, plot 64. We're going to have a look at plot 89 and see how that's winding up for the winter. So here we are, plot 89. Back to have a little look at this one. So as we can see, all the flowers I did have in here have all now died, and we've got some grasses growing in there. We've got some weeds coming up on this path, but to be honest, this side has been a bit neglected since I've got the new plot. We've got horseradish coming up absolutely everywhere, but with that new weed remover, hopefully we'll get those out without any bother. And we see the strawberries are actually still doing really well. Do look like sending out lots and lots of runners. The grape has died off for the winter, but that's kind of expected. It's had a bit of stress where it was moved over, but it still feels like it's got some good growth in it. Over this side, all the runner beans are coming to the end. They're all dying off, but we've got loads and loads of beans to pick, so I'll be picking those later. Tomato bed, I've not really picked a lot of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to very shortly cut all these down and clear the area, and I'm going to make sure I don't grow any tomatoes or potatoes there next year, just because I think there's a bit of a risk of blight given that we've let these get to this stage. Cucumbers and courgettes are all dying off. We've got quite a few of the little cucumbers to pick, and there's a few courgettes hidden away in there as well, so I'll have a sort through of all that. Corn has also come to the end. We've managed to get a few cobs off this, but something has been eating these. I don't know whether it's mice or insects or what, but a lot of them have been munched, so we've not really got to try very many of them. I've got a few cobs off today that I'll probably have with dinner tonight. Trees are still plodding along nicely. Hopefully we'll get some decent growth on those next year once they've established some better roots. And same on this side. As you can see, all the grass that I planted a few weeks ago has all started coming up along here. I'm going to add some more seed to that as well today, just to try and thicken it all up. Now, the one thing that I did find when I came down today was the sides of my poly house have come down. So I'm not going to repair it today. I've ordered some strong outdoor polythene tape to hold this up. So what I'll do is I'll tape it and then staple again just to really reinforce it. And it's happened on both sides of here as well. I think it's just some really, really strong winds that we've had. But it does appear to have been keeping the chilli plants nice and warm in here. So this one, which I thought was about to die off, is actually doing really, really well. So we've got quite a few chocolate habanero chilies on here that look like they're probably about ready to pick. And we've got a few green ones still growing as well. But I have noticed that we've got lots of these little flowers growing as well. So we may well get some more chilies on here. But we'll have to wait and see. And the others actually all seem to be doing all right as well. So they've obviously been kept fairly warm in here. The temperature has dropped a little bit over recent weeks. Grass along here is all growing perfectly. It's going to be about time to cut that very soon. And my lettuce bed seems to be doing really, really well. So I think in a few weeks' time, I'll be harvesting some of those leaves to have for my dinner. Have a look inside the brassica cage. Got lots of leafy growth in there. So hopefully that's all going to be tasty cabbages and other brassicas to eat before too long. And then up the rest of the plot, not a lot else has changed really. Compost seems to be breaking down okay, but I still need to put the fronts on these, and I still haven't got around to tidying the end yet. But either way, it's getting there. So I am going to go and plant some more grass, and I think I'm then going to head home. So thank you for watching episode 3. Feel free to subscribe to me on Twitter and on YouTube, and like our Facebook page. Like I said, I am going to head home now because it's getting quite warm. I've been down here a few hours, but I've got a few bits and bobs to do at home. I'm going to probably be planting a few things at home today as well. So I'm going to head off, and I will see you in episode 4.